Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of Super Rugby Pacific. This one taking place in Fiji, more specifically in Bar, for the first Super Rugby matchup take place on the soil, at least of Super Rugby Pacific anyway. And these two sides, they have talked about it already, the heat that they are dealing with out there, a little bit warmer than Latoka and Suva, so it will certainly be a pressure cooker out there for this contest. But looking through at the starting lineups, there has actually been a late change for the FIJIAN DRUA. Rather than Zaril Tongiatama in the number 2 jersey, we are going to get to see Ravudi make his FIJIAN DRUA debut. So a big opportunity for him in front of the home crowd. At number 1, Hireti Atit, Masaki Donge once again will be 3. Asoana Silla and Masaki Vothi as the locking duo. And then in the loose forwards, Atonio Wanga, Motakai Murray and Ilia Thanakai Vata Sotson. As the number 8, Frank Lamani alongside Isaiah Armstrong Ravula as their 9 and 10 combination. Ponepate Loginamasi out on the left wing. Ezekiel Rabitu in the midfield alongside Tuadraki, Samu Vordre, and then Georgie Nasova and Eliza Drua Sisi close out. The starting lineup for the Brumbies, a couple changes compared to what we did see in their last contest. Against the Reds, they were extremely close to winning that game, leading near the final moments, but then did let it slip. It was their first loss of the Super Rugby Pacific season, but they still find themselves sitting top of the table, or at least they were up until the Hurricanes able to overtake them after yesterday's game. But in the front row, it is Lincoln Aili as the number 1, Billy Pollard at 2, and Darcy Breen on debut gets the chance as the number 3, Nick Frost and Tommy McPherson as the locking duo. Tui Lema, Rema and Valentini for his 100th game. He slots in as the number 8, Clayton Thorne alongside Tane Edmed as that 9 and 10 combination. Hudson Crichton, he is going to be not out on the left wing, sorry. It is Corey Toole. David Filiwai alongside Caden Pritchard in the midfield. Coyotes and then Andy Muirhead as that number 15. So overall, a strong Brumbies team. They've made quite a few switches, but still they've got that foundation there of what is a very decent side in the Super Rugby comp. The table, the way that it sits currently, as you can see, the Hurricanes are above the Brumbies. That is just due to points differential. Canes playing last night up against the Western Force and taking that number 1 spot. But there are still a couple sides that are slightly behind in terms of games. The Waratahs, the Reds, and the Drua being one of them, who have not been able to play the full 4 matches just yet. The Brumbies have a big opportunity to be sitting back at the top of the standings. But they have to get a good win here up against the FIJIAN DRUA, who have never beaten this Brumbies side. And also the FIJIAN DRUA, they have got a decent home record, but not so good away. But this game, at least it is in Fiji, which should make this game that little bit closer. Emmet is a massive mistake, draw by 12 plus, says Morgrel. And we have got there, Brumbies going to piss it in, says Gavin NZ, and Brumbies going to, you said it again. What does that even mean? Does that mean they're going to win, or does that mean they're going to make a mistake? We have got there excited for the Scotland game, says Anthony. Yeah, Scotland versus Ireland. That will be the 3rd live stream of the day on the channel. We got 6 in total. So about 13 hours of talking today. But 100th match for Rob Ballatini as he makes his way out there onto the field for a milestone matchup. He's had 21 tries throughout Super Rugby. He's got quite a few supporters in the stands as well. Some Fijian roots there. I would be excited to see what he can do on Fijian soil. But we do see no Charlie Cale here for the Brumbies. Another one of the changes that they did decide to make for this one. If the Brumbies win this game, considering all the changes, would be massive. Says Kahu. Yeah, although they have shown throughout their games that they've got quite a nice bit of depth. And normally they show it off of their bench rather than in the starting side. But this team for the Brumbies, they will be quite fresh. Definitely some of those younger guys who have just been training with them for now, but getting the opportunity to go out there up against the FIJIAN DRUA side in a new environment. Try and make a bit of a statement here for the Brumbies as well. Toso Drua Toso says Hal Cop. They do also come in as the only away favourite across the whole round of Super Rugby Pacific, the Brumbies. So even with the fact that they've made multiple changes, they are still expected to win this game up against the FIJIAN DRUA. The two sides now out there on the park. Asoana Silla were in that 5 jersey, and also, like I mentioned, that young man at number 2, Ravudi, was supposed to be making his way off the bench, but due to Zaril Tongiotama being out late with some sickness, it does make that switch. How is the weather at the game? It is hot. No rain, though, at this point in time, and I don't believe there's a lot of wind either, so it's just going to be that hot and humid kind of feeling. This one's going to be kicked off now by the Brumbies, and we are underway for this contest. Nicely taken by FIJIAN Drua, and he's already hit hard by LinkedIn Aili in the first challenge. It's Cricket Hamish, long time no see, says Baden, so I didn't end up needing to play. They did get their 11th man in the end, and from the last that I heard, they managed to bowl the other team out for about 90. But they haven't had any updates on the app as of yet after that. Will you be doing the Bulls vs Storms? We certainly will be. That will be the third match of the day that's coming up. Going off to the right-hand side here for the youngster Clayton Thorne. Valentini shovels it on now. Hudson Crichton goes on the outside. Okay, so it is actually Hudson Crichton. I corrected myself initially because I thought that it may have been a mistake, but no Corey Toole for this contest out on that left wing side. I think he was initially announced in the team. But must have had a bit of a switch up that they needed. They have just said there it's 31 degrees, feels like 35. Are you doing the next game? Next game, Highlanders Crusaders? We are, yes. 1 minute into this contest, first scrum of the day. Paul Williams, the man in charge of this one. And I will mention, because of the heat, there is also going to be the 3-minute water breaks that take place 20 minutes into each half. That's just due to the pure humidity and warmth that these players will be experiencing. What is the first game of sevens tomorrow, Hamish? The first game is at 3 a.m. between Fiji and Argentina, but we won't be covering it due to the overlap with Six Nations. But we will be doing a majority of day 2 of the sevens, as well as hopefully that T20 between the Proteas and the Black Caps as well. Okay, I think one of the players was just saying to Paul Williams that he didn't actually hear him. And Paul Williams has said he'll try his best to be louder. It is very loud in the stands. A lot of support for this FIJIAN DRUA side. Brumbies come in as that side that maybe, you know, as well as they've done up against the draw, they will still feel like they are underdogs in some regards for this matchup. It's pretty 50-50 in terms of who is expected to win. Now, Frank Lamani moving away to the right-hand side. Isaiah Armstrong, Ravula goes across to Drua, fires it on to Georgie Nasova. We're saying before the game that he's got like 3 busloads of people who have come from his village to watch him play here. So a popular man amongst Fijian fans. And what's up, bro? I'm back. Says Abel. Welcome back. And when does the Black Cats play? They play at about 7 o'clock tomorrow night, I believe. It is somewhere around there anyway. Now this one's going to be kicked high from Clayton Thorne. And nice take under the high ball. FIJIAN Drua goes across now. Big run from Tuidraki. Oh no, in fact it was Ezekiel Rapitu that time. Interception pass thrown. It was stolen by the Brumbies. And it was Raymer who was flying down the wing. But they will have to go back now for the original advantage. What do you think of the Super Rugby Sevens comp? Or what do you think of a Super Rugby Sevens comp? I know that the French top 14 do it, don't they? And it seems to be relatively successful. The NRL used to do the NRL 9s. I wouldn't mind it, although I just worry about injuries is the only thing, because you look at the injury list of these sides already. The draw are actually doing extremely well, just the 2 injuries on their list. But for some of these sides, they've already got 14 injuries this year, and we're only up to round 5, so maybe if it was like a developmental team of each comp and you had the same kits and everything, it would be quite cool. But I also think that with the injuries that they suffer, it would be a bit of a risk. Are you streaming Crusaders versus Highlanders, says Abel? We will be, yes. That one will be starting up just before 7. And they're just saying they're a bit too high from Billy Pollard in that collision. Now, he was falling as well, the FIJIAN DRUA player. That one could have gone either way. But the first throw of the day for Ravudi from Hamilton Boys High School. Now gets that big opportunity for the FIJIAN DRUA. Now Vofe runs it forward. The draw inside of the Brumbies 22. Ilya Thanakai-Vata pumping his legs. Another advantage going against the Brumbies. I believe that is going to be for offside. Armstrong, Ravula trying to get through Pritchard. Can't make the meters he was after. Lamani back across to Hereti Hitit. Tackled by Darcy Breen. Oh, looking for the offload. Seeing a little bit of the Fijian 7 style coming through this Drua team. Lamani, short side again. Thought about a pass that's gone forward, so they will go back again for another advantage. I'm amazed that the field is actually not bad, says Kiwi Rob. Well, this game is in Bar, which is a newer stadium. I think that they mentioned Glenn Jackson beforehand, that they had seen the stadium when it was being built, and it looked like a really good facility. A big match up here. The first time that the Fijian Drua have played at this location. Drua got something special, or especially waiting for the Brumbies. So here's Luke. And a touch and go moment there. And also not sure if I will watch Reds versus Tars. Want to get enough sleep. Get up for the 7, says Jasmine. Yeah, it's a pretty tricky one, isn't it? I think that we are going to be skipping that Reds Waratahs game. Just because from there I will have 4 matches back to back afterwards. Calling for the T here for Armstrong Ravula. Just going for the safer option here. And he's sitting 7 from 8 for this season, so should be relatively easy enough. I don't get why the Drua are going for the 3 early points on the board. At this stage, 5 minutes into the contest, they just want to tick that scoreboard over, reset. We've got to remember this game's also being played in real feel of about 35 degrees Celsius with humidity. You don't really want to gas yourselves out in the early stages of the game. And that one's gone over from Armstrong Ravola. Yeah, I'm winning against the Brumbies with 3, says Kiwi Rob. It's a good start, though, isn't it? Like, what happens if they went for the corner and then they ended up blowing the opportunity, ending the move with 0 points? Then you would have gone, why didn't they go for the 3? So I think it's the right choice now. But now they just have to wait to see how they reset from here. That's the main thing. So sometimes it's not so much the decision of the 3, but it's what you do after the 3. Whether or not you keep yourself in control of the game or whether you lose your momentum. What time will you be live after the Crusaders game? After the Crusaders game will be about 12:40. Now nicely taken by the Brumbies. Sitting around the halfway line. Going now left, Andy Muirhead, skip pass on the outside, breaking the line beautifully there by Coyotes, ball on the inside, grab it, Hudson Creighton chases, and does he get it down? He may have, and the Brumbies have got themselves a quick fire try back there, and it's Hudson Creighton, a man who I believe wasn't even named in the initial 23, he's already puffed from that chase. They'll just make sure that he was onside at the time that kick was taken, but the Brumbies putting together a couple phases, and Coyotes has managed to find the gap. Muirhead finding it straight into his hands. Lamani, that was a terrible tackle attempt there. He tried to slap it out of the hands of the Brumbies player rather than just actually making the tackle. We're seeing it there. Yeah, I think that is fine. I believe he was behind him. And come on, the Brumbies, says Hughes, and sweet try, says Morgrel. And also over there because that's what can happen. Says Kiwi Rob, that is true. Although even if they had scored the try, the Brumbies would have still had the kickoff that they had to take. So maybe they delayed it by a minute or so. That season, decent kicking accuracy for Tane Edmed as well, 78%. That's going to drop a little bit. He has missed it away to the side, drops to 70 for the season. Hudson Crichton still catching his breath after that move. He looks like he's a little bit worse for wear there, Hudson Crichton, after scoring that try down the wing. And that is why we need those 20-minute breaks. 3-minute breaks every 20 minutes for water. Get the players back down to a decent temperature. Who gets the try? Hudson Crichton was able to score it for the Brumbies. Now ready to kick this one off for Isaiah Armstrong Ravula. Will they be able to bounce straight back? Out of cricket go, Hamish. I didn't end up playing in the end. They managed to find the 11th. And from what I saw, they did very nicely bowling-wise. They were able to bowl the opposition out for 78. But I'm not sure. Penalty goes the way of the Fijian Drua now. Inside of the 22. Yeah, it hasn't updated for about an hour and a half. So I don't actually know if they've won from here or whether they have also been bowled out. This is your moment, Drua. Okay, stay up as you can. A rucking is the comment from Paul Williams. And now we see the Fijian Drua kicking this one towards the corner. They are only down by 2 points. We have their spoiler, by the way. Lawson scored his first points for 2026. It's probably not much of a spoiler for me because I don't really follow the F1, but hopefully that hasn't annoyed someone who was looking forward to watching it later. Brumbies take this game, says User. And Tosa Drua Toso. And there as well. But line out throw here for the Fijian Drua. Not quite. You're going to have a reset. Will you be getting WWE 2K26? Probably not. I don't think I've bought a WWE game since about 24. From there, I don't get enough of a chance to play them. And then by the time I start playing them, new one comes out. So then it's old news anyway. Awkward bouncing ball. Coyotes not able to take it cleanly. They'll go back for the knock on. It is going to be the scrum feed for the Brumbies, about 10 metres out from their line. So they took on the opportunity of going for the corner and it's backfired. They will leave this move with 0 points from it. They had gone for the 3. They could have been leading 6-5 in this case. And also the Wars beat the Raiders 40 points to 6 last night. The weird thing is, wasn't it 6-6 at halftime? And then the second half happened and the Brumbies, or sorry, not the Brumbies, then the Warriors just came out absolutely firing in that case. Just talking about Zarel Tongiatama, the player who was left out late with the sickness to bring the late change and a big opportunity on debut. The man who was going to be wearing number 16 in Ravudi. What is happening to the Warriors? Well, they're going all right at the moment, aren't they? Like, we don't want to question it. You just say, yep, good on them. Because as soon as you start trying to work out why they're going well, that's normally when they start not going so well. Now passed into the pocket. Tony Met for the clearing kick, and it does. Oh, what's that? That seemed like an interesting choice from Georgie Nasova. Almost ended up tapping it into touch himself, but he has managed to stay in the field and play with it. Now Eliza Drua Sisi pops it on the inside to Ponepati. Loganamasi, low tackle from Pritchard. Told to use it there for Lamani. Bra a bit low for them. Oh, it was almost a mistake there. And it is going to be Rabitu, who's got the ball for Fiji, as well as the penalty advantage for this Drua side. Now it's so a Nasila. Good defence so far, though, from the Brumbies, not allowing too many running metres for this Drua side. Hi, Hamish and Pals, how's life in the fast lane, says Big Rig. Yeah, it's going to be a weird day. It's going to go either very quickly or very slowly, but we've got 12 or 13 hours of streaming coming up in the near future. Nice hands there from, I think it would have been Mutakai Murray at number 7. Inside of the 22 now for the FIJIAN DRUA, looking to fire back after conceding that try of Hudson Crichton not too long ago. Another advantage going the way of the draw. The Brumbies discipline starting to creep in. Be a little bit ill-disciplined at the moment. Big Fen round the outside. Atongni Owananga scores the try in the corner. And the FIJIAN DRUA, they take the lead in this contest in front of the crowd and Bar, who are absolutely loving it at the moment. But Atongni Owananga with the big run down the wing. They didn't look like they were going to catch him. I voted a draw to be a hipster. What do you reckon the score will be for the next game? Hopefully close. 6 of the last 9 meetings between the Crusaders and the Highlanders have been separated by 3 or less. There's been the outliers, though, and hopefully we don't get an outlier for that one. Big fend on Tain Edme by Atongni Owananga just to get rid of him. Muirhead wasn't able to get across either. It is a very strong finish. 6 Nations tomorrow. I'm predicting these teams to win. Ireland, Italy, and France. So by that logic, you're saying France to win the 6 Nations, right, Kevin? In that case, a good finish there from Atongni Owananga. Now 13 minutes through in this contest. Both sides enjoying a drinks break. It's actually quite nice for the Brumbies where they are situated in terms of the in-goal area. There's actually a little bit of cloud cover or something that's creating a shadow. So they're keeping slightly cooler. But Armstrong Ravula gets the kick over from the sideline as well, making the score now 10 points to 5 in favour of the FIJIAN DRUA. Toso says Viniana, what have you been doing, Hamish? Says Baden. I haven't done a huge amount today as of yet. I did end up staying up till about 6 a.m. Doing all of the live stream prep, everything along those lines. There's still some to do. Then woke up at around 11 and then tried to go back to sleep for like a couple hours or so. But it's been a busy enough day. Any gap that I've had, I've just tried to get things done for the channel. But there's still more to do. Unfortunately, that one's going to be kicked into touch by the Brumbies. How's the game so far? It's fast-paced, which will take a toll on these two sides, playing in the real feel of 35 degrees Celsius, a little bit of humidity as well to deal with. And that was one thing that Stephen Larkin mentioned before the game. They are not used to it in Canberra for this Brumbies side. So they'll have to adapt here. But it was also mentioned how when it comes to sides adapting, the Brumbies are one of the better at it throughout Super Rugby. Now, kicking downfield, Frank Lamani going in behind. It looks like it's only forwards chasing after that one. Hudson Crichton tackled by Nasila. Muirhead almost snuck through before being tackled by Ravuni. Good morning. How are you, Hamish? My best friend. It's my birthday Monday. My dream is to meet you in the Blitzbox must win. Says Mohadeen. Oh, that's a knock-on from Coyotes. But yeah, hopefully you do have a great birthday on Monday. I believe it will be Tuesday for us here in New Zealand. This is your chance, Drua, says Karoi. A penalty going against the Fijian Drua, but they have had a great start to this contest. First 15 minutes, with the exception of that one Brumbies try, the Drua have been in control here. When does New York 7 start? Are you covering all? Not all, unfortunately, but we will be giving updates on the Sevens along the first day, because pretty much the gist of it is the first match is Fiji versus Argentina. Starts at 3 a.m., which overlaps with the match of the Six Nations. So first day will be mainly covered by Six Nations commentary, and then second day will be just the Sevens, if that makes sense. But we will be once again providing updates of every game along the way. I'm off to Thailand in about 12 weeks, says Jasmine there. Now going off to the left-hand side. Nice run forward from Rob Valentini. That's going to be a penalty advantage now for the Brumbies again. Passing across to Luke Raymer. They've still got the advantage though, and they still have numbers on this left-hand side if they want to get it wide in the direction of Hudson Crichton. Trying to slap that one on was Andy Muirhead. Didn't actually get a hand on it. He looks to the referee for a penalty of some sort. Maybe he should have been watching the game. He picks up the ball now. Muirhead throws a bit of a rough pass. I'm not actually sure what he was complaining about there, Muirhead. I think it was the fact that he got tackled, but fun fact, it's rugby. You're supposed to. Now off to the right. Rob Valentini goes to Luke Raymer, sitting about 7 metres out from the try line now. Away to the right, big flat attack and run forward. And another penalty advantage. Now, that will be the penalty awarded in favour of the Brumbies. About 7 metres out. Is this where the ill discipline of the Drua starts to sneak in a little bit? Out on the Blitz versus New Zealand, we won't be because it does start at 4:10 a.m, which is still during the time that the Six Nations is happening. And the tackle joke says K Slade. And also, when you're streaming day 2 tomorrow for Rugby Sevens, when it starts, I believe it starts at about 4 a.m. We'll be looking through at the games and picking the ones that we do normally cover on the channel. But 4 a.m, or sorry, I should say 4 a.m. Monday morning. And good morning, people on Earth, says Xander, welcome in. Now, quick tap taken by Billy Pollard. Couple metres out from the Drua line. They can't afford to give away another penalty advantage here, but the Brumbies methodically working their way just that little bit closer towards the try line. It's there for Darcy Breen. He reaches out, but again will be just short. Now popping it up to Filiwai, Rob Valentini. He wants this ball in his 100th test match, his 100th Super Rugby match. Can't quite get over the line. Once again, good defence on the goal line from the Fijian Drua. Waiting to see whether or not Paul Williams plays the advantage, which I believe he has now. Which means the Brumbies, it may only be a matter of time. The ball was lost by the Brumbies, perhaps going forward. The callers play on. Now around the side, Luke Raymer. They're just consistently tackling here. The Fijian Drua, couple metres out. Pollard with the rough pass. Double blow of the whistle here. This might not be a good sign for the Fijian Drua. I believe this is now the last warning. How you doing, Stormers? We are going to be doing the Stormers versus Bulls game. Yes. Oh, okay. It wasn't a warning. It was, in fact, a message from Paul Williams. Masaki Donge going to the bin now for 10 minutes. Did your cricket team win? My junior team in the morning did. I did see, which is great news. And then my current team that I play for, there hasn't been an update. Oh, no, there is one. Never mind. They were able to win. After 22 overs, they got the 80 runs. They were chasing 78 after bowling out the opposition. They were 7 down too. So it was actually probably a lot closer than they would have liked it to be. But they got the job done, which means now we're reliant on another team losing to then make it through to the semi-finals. And just as an update on that game, the other team that we need to lose are chasing 163. They're 31 for 3. But now big run forward here from the Brumbies. Getting close to the try line again. Just going to be dragged down short. Now Raymer. Oh, he knocked that on. Yes, he did. And that is going to be a scrum feed now. Oh, okay, interesting. They're one of the younger players in this Fijian Drua side is the one getting in the faces of the Brumbies and telling them all about it. I just got back from some shopping and stacked up my pantry with some snacks and desserts and barbecue dinner for tomorrow. I can't wait for the Crusaders game, going to be a cracker Southern derby. Yeah, I think a lot of people are excited to see how that matchup goes. France lose, you think Europe will erupt? Probably not. Like, that's the thing. England, a lot of people are now saying England aren't good. But England were on a big winning streak, including, I believe, like a few victories over Six Nations sides. So, like, it isn't completely unheard of to see England do well up against France. Last year, England won by 1 point. The year prior, France won by 2. So if it's split by a really thin margin, I don't think it would be that surprising, to be honest. But we're here for the drinks break now for the two sides. What that means is they get 3 minutes of having a bit of a cooling down break before we get back underway in this contest. Well done. Great cricket captain, you deserve. No, I'm not the captain of either side. I'm the coach of one and just a player in another one. Drua holding that line. I like their lives depended on it, says Luke, an awesome defensive player from the Drua. Yeah, with the exception of that one penalty advantage that they gave away, they were very strong in terms of just stopping the Brumbies from breaking through. And I think that will frustrate this Brumbies side. Normally, when they are up against the side and they're only a couple metres out from their goal line, like they would find their way over more times than not. Even if England aren't good, they can still beat France. Exactly right. And France, we got to remember, they also lost last week. So it's actually a situation that we're not used to seeing, how England and France heading into that game are both coming off losses. If France win, what happens? Then they would win the Six Nations, theoretically, if they do what Scotland do. So let's just say, for instance, Scotland win up against Ireland, no bonus point. Then all France would have to do is just beat England with no bonus point. I was thinking as soon as the referee makes the mark for a line-out, you have to come in straight away. Says Kiwi Rob. I do admire the fact that you're always trying to find ways of either speeding up the game or just ways of cutting out the downtime, Kiwi Rob. I don't think anyone thinks about it as much as yourself. Like in terms of the stoppages of play and how they can speed it along. I like the All Blacks aren't as good. We can beat the box, says BTW Padza. And Scotland will win, says Mocha then. And Six Nations is going to be crazy. Who do you reckon will win it? I think France are in the box seat at the moment. But then, like, that's the crazy thing. The dark horse of the comp, I feel, is actually Ireland. Because you think about it, if Ireland beats Scotland and England pull off an upset up against the French, the option that not many people are thinking about, even though the Irish are playing at the Aviva, like, they should be still in the conversation a little bit more. But I think because Scotland beat the French side last week, everyone's really high on them. But I definitely wouldn't underestimate what Ireland can do at the Aviva, even if they as well haven't been in their greatest form. They normally show up for their games up against Scotland. But I really hope we get around like we had at the end of 2024's competition. Because that was when all 3 games were separated by 5 or less and had an absolutely thrilling finish to the competition as a whole. Tovalea, Drua, says, tops there. Now, off ball's fed in. The drinks break is over for these two sides, or the cooling break as they call it. And Armstrong Ravula kicks that ball into touch for yet again another short break as they get ready for the line out. Do you think Bulls will win? They've got a decent chance. The Stormers side haven't looked anywhere near as dangerous as they were before the big stoppages and the big breaks, but still a strong-looking Stormers team. They've got Damien Valimza at 12. Sasha's at the helm at 10. Although with no Evan Roos and no Kobus Reinach, they might be slightly lighter in some departments. I think we will struggle this year considering we only have 3 games before we head to South Africa. Says Kiwi Rob, and Scotland had a great side, and if they didn't lose that game earlier to Italy, they would have been the box office side to take out the title, says Josiah. And I think that's where for Scotland, you kind of hope they can still win the thing. Because if their only loss was the one up against the Italians in a game where they looked awful, they'd be so gutted. You know, it's been talked about how if it wasn't raining, Scotland would have won that game, but it was raining. And Scotland had their worst handling that I've ever seen them have in that matchup. So it just shows how crucial it is to be consistent. And they've actually been very consistent since that game. But it's just, you know, it's the same as what Wales could say. If Wales had pulled off the win up against Scotland, then Scotland wouldn't have even been in the conversation as a side that could have got the win. But I've dug deep at certain times, the Scottish, they just didn't do it up against the Italians. This one's going to be kicked into touch. For the first time ever, we've been able to say that Italy have beaten Scotland and England in a Six Nations competition. We're going to see it now. Another penalty advantage going against the Fijian Drua. That is for Ilia Whanakaivata, just leaving his footing. Now line out throw. This one goes in. Now starting to move this one in the forwards direction. Billy Pollard hanging on to it at the back. Is this the moment that the Brumbies need? No, he's collapsed. Wasn't quite able to get over the line. And now about 4 metres out the draw, find themselves defending with 14 once more. And Brumbies may be too greedy, says Luke. Yeah, I think they felt like they were going to just drive that one straight over. That was side entry blatantly from Tuilema. Referee says, you know what? We'll just keep going. Right, new advantage now up against the Fijian Drua. Couple metres short of the line for the Brumbies. Is this going to be another yellow card for this Drua side? They'll offload it up to Pritchard. He's knocked it on. They'll go back for another penalty. Come on, the Brumbies get in. Says user. Drua by 8, says BTW Padza. I was too cocky about the world rankings. So I don't hope they win the Six Nations. However, everyone's never cocky. If anything, we are humble being champs. Says Xander. Yeah. 8 minutes past. 5 penalties in a row up against this Fijian Drua side. And again, this is a bit more of a warning for this side. It is whether or not they go to the bin or whether they can just avoid a situation like that. They need to either force a knock on from this Brumbies team or they need to get that big turnover. I think that's going to be hard to do legally just out from the line with the way the Brumbies are protecting the ball. But again, it looks like a rolling maul attempt for the Brumbies as Tane Edmed gets ready to kick that one towards the sideline. Do you think we will? I assume that struggle, I would say so. Like at the end of the day, like it takes more than just a couple months to get to a side to be at their peak. And I do think for Dave Rennie, he's going to have a tough time ahead. Because if he loses that South African series, there's going to be so many people who go, oh, we're going to have to sack him, get rid of him. He wasn't able to change it. But, like, yeah, I think that there's a little bit more work to do than just simply getting on the plane to South Africa with some good informed players and beating the box. I think that there's quite a bit more. In fact, now Pollard still hanging on to this through the middle for the Fijian Drua. Ilia Whanakaivata locks over the ball. This one's not going to come out, and brilliantly defended by the Fijian Drua. The crowd and bar are absolutely loving that one. I know you will be sleeping tomorrow, but what are the chances, or what? By the way, I know you will be sleeping tomorrow, but what do you rate our chances? I assume that's in the sevens, right, that you're talking about. They have beaten New Zealand 2 of the last 3 meetings. All games have been separated by less than 7. I have Black Cats and the White Ferns. Oh, so you're not even talking the 7. Sorry, I thought you were talking about the 7 side of things. I think we're going to be doing that match on the channel, though, more than likely. The Black Cats versus Proteas one. What is the AB's opening game of the new era and season of 2026? Is it up against the French? Is France the first game that New Zealand play? I know that they play France in July. I think they also play Italy in July. This one's going to be now a free kick for the Fijian Drua, 5 metres out. People said they must sack Rassi, says Mohadin. I like to see Springboks versus Scotland at Murrayfield and the All Blacks versus England at Eden Park. Fiji versus Italy in Italy. I give the Italians a decent chance in that game, to be fair. Now, big run forward. Hudson Crichton. Going away to the left-hand side. Tane Edmed sees a bit of a gap. Fires it on to Luke Ramo. He's had a lot of carries throughout the early stages of this game. Now Coyotes runs up the middle. Good defence from the draw again to be able to take him down. Ramo. Oh, a little bit of a fumble of the ball there from McPherson. Still on the side of the Brumbies, who have dominated the possession stat throughout the last 10 minutes or so. Italy to win by 60, says BTW Padza. Fijian Drua, they have to stay on side here. Cannot afford to let it slip through the fingertips. Now Yelly. Did Scotland ever beat South Africa? They have, yes. I think Scotland have only not beaten New Zealand. Is that Scotland's only team inside of the top 10 that they haven't beaten, the Kiwis? It might be. Now moving forward. Valentini. Back across to the right again. Another penalty advantage. This is where we'll probably someone go to the bin again here for FIJIAN DRUA. Even though they've only got 2 minutes 30 remaining of their last one over the line. And a double blow of the whistle. This is going to be a hefty one for the FIJIAN DRUA because Toby McPherson's going to score. But then on top of that, there is going to be the yellow card. Just multiple in a row. Which number is he calling? Oh, I swear I heard him say 3. Number 8's going to go to the bin as well. Ilya Thanakaivata, FIJIAN DRUA, playing with 13 now. The worst part is, in hindsight, right, it sounds awful to say, but for the FIJIAN DRUA here, defending just out from their line, would they have just been better off conceding right when they first got down here, the Brumbies? It would have saved them 2 yellow cards from this match, but I think they would have come eventually anyway. Cheers, bro, says Timothy there. That one's going to be kicked over, though, by the Brumbies, making the score now 12 points to 10 in favour of this Brumbies side, and they are playing with 13. Who's the referee? It is Paul Williams in charge of this one. France vs All Blacks is their opening game in One New Zealand Stadium. If I was the captain of the ABs, I would put Artie as captain. Wait, if you were captain, so I assume you're saying if you were coach of the All Blacks rather than captain. Drop Scott Barrett from making the AB squad. Put Cam Roygan and Ruben Love as the centre pairing. Have Tangitau and Carter as the wings. And bro, remember me from yesterday? I do. And we've been waiting patiently, Cooper. How many runs did you get today? Because you said that you got 25 balls that you would face, unless, of course, you retired and got to go back in. We guessed 23 runs. How many did you get exactly? I was reading Eben retired. But now people saying it's fake news. Have you heard anything, Hamish? I've heard nothing whatsoever. I know that there's been a lot of talk of Etzebeth throughout the last couple of days after the eye gouging that we saw in the Six Nations. But, yeah, I haven't heard if he's retiring or anything like that. Honestly, if he did, it may not be the worst timing. I know that he did suffer those concussions, was it last year, that put him really close to retirement? Oh, that's offside. Oh, no, in fact, penalty goes the way of the FIJIAN DRUA now for working the breakdown. 15 off 35 bowled. Did your team win, though, Cooper, with that 15? Ruben Love isn't ready to be our 10, says Kiwi Rob, although he actually said he put him as the centre pairing. Although I assume that he meant the 9 and 10 combo. And let's go to the Brumbies, says Leber. Penalties conceded. 5 against the FIJIAN DRUA, 4 against the Brumbies. Kimi Valetini, he is running the drinks today for the FIJIAN DRUA, and he's actually drinking some of that water. No, says Cooper. Yeah, that's unlucky then. In that regard, 15 runs. I'd still take 15 runs. I think I've only scored 15 runs across the last 3 games for my side. Saki Donge, he is not too far from making his way back out onto the field. My son got 15 off 12. 1-4-1-6. How many people are in his team, Ange? Is it, I'd assume it'd be a young, player. Normally they get around 18 balls, but maybe he was batting near the bottom of the order, was it? Now kicking this one off. Getting the distance on it and the accuracy for Armstrong Ravula. So the FIJIAN DRUA will take the lead back now. 13 points to 12. Even the best team's turn in Fiji, says Morgrel. Yeah, I mean, look at the Hurricanes last week. What they did. Having a more getting starts at hooker and have the experience of Cody Taylor off the bench because we saw too crucial. The AB's bench was throughout the end of the year tour and adding some experience, says Josiah. Now Andy Muirhead down the middle of the field. Oh, looking for the 50-22, but well taken by Frank Lamani near the back. And this one downfield, it's a decent strike. In fact, there's far too much on it. He has booted that one from 22 to dead ball. They will have to go way back to where that one was kicked from for Frank Lamani. Be frustrated with that one too. Lamani had space, had time to be able to find the angle. How are you today? What games are you doing? Says Mohadeen. So, the upcoming games that we've got on the channel, we have got, of course, this one. Then we've got Highlanders versus Crusaders in Christchurch. So that one will be taking place at 7 o'clock or so. Then after that, the next game will be at 12:40 a.m. That will be the Bulls versus the Stormers, followed by Ireland versus Scotland, followed by Wales versus Italy, then followed by France versus England. Then after that, theoretically, if all goes well, and I'm still going, We will be doing the Black Cats versus Proteas first T20. That has taken place on Sunday night, New Zealand time, and then all throughout the night with the Sevens, all till around Monday midday. Now, ball's fed in. Scrum holding strong. The Brumbies, though, in possession once again in this danger area on the field, while the FIJIAN DRUA play with the 14. Out there on the field, Rob Valentini has a bit of a fumble with the ball. I'm not sure whether or not there was just a camera adjustment that happened there, but that kind of looked like there might have been a couple raindrops falling. So that would add a bit more spice to the second half of this contest. Now trying to step around is Nick Frost, recently returning from injury. Showing he's going to pick up right from where he left off. Did the Chiefs play today? The Chiefs have got themselves the bye. Counter ruck from the FIJIAN DRUA in the breakdown. And at the moment, even with 14 out there, they still seem well and truly up for the challenge. Masaki Lunge, he'll be fresh after returning from the bin. And also, what time is the first AB's Black Ferns game for 7's our time? First one for the New Zealand men, about 4:08 a.m. I believe it is. And then the women's, I think they're at about 6-ish. Maybe a little bit earlier, in fact. Maybe around 5? Yeah, probably 5, actually. But we will be providing updates throughout the Six Nations games too. Hi, says Cooper. Welcome in again. Very spicy game, says Jasmine. No Tars versus Reds. Sadly not. We're going to be doing about 13 hours of commentary without that game included. So it is the game this week that sadly has to be sacrificed. Just so that I have some sort of break and being able to cook something and have a bit of a break before the next 9 hours of streaming. Right, it's gone forward off the drawer player. So it is now going to be a scrum feed for the Brumbies. About 9 metres out from their own line. I got my harmless message deleted. Well, says Sock. You got it deleted off this one, Sock? Or when did you write it? I don't even think it came through. So obviously YouTube's the one who's got rid of that one. It was your Wallabies best back row. Because in my opinion, Bobby, Hooper and McWright. Be a dangerous 3. I do also think that if you're looking at the future, someone like a Charlie Cale could definitely be in the equation. You got a day job? I do during the week, but luckily I get the weekends off, which is quite ideal. We have got says Cooper in there too. And now, scrum feed again for the Brumbies. Not too far out. I know they must hate my aura. Says Sock there. But now 10 metres out from the line. Brumbies get the penalty. Fiji Island sketch map. No world leadership. I assume that is from Sundeep. I don't know what 90% of that actually means, to be fair. That one's going to be kicked in a touch. I only really know about the FIJIAN DRUA. And they're going all right, currently leading. What do you think, Zach, or do you think Zach Lomax will make the Wallabies this year? Depends on what they've got injury-wise, I think. I think he will need to play some decent minutes beforehand. Plays year 6 with 8 players. And he only got 12 balls. Year 6, they'll be playing 20 overs, right? Only 12 balls between 8. That seems like it's a little bit light in terms of the overall amount they get to face. I guess if your team doesn't go out too often, that probably works out not too badly. Now going off to the left-hand side, Hudson Crichton kicking this one in behind, and that one's gone out on the full. We'll go right back to where it was kicked from. I'll be disappointed about that. The Brumbies just starting to get that little bit of momentum going. And hi, bro, this is Cooper's name, Spencer. Can I have a shout out? I'm a halfback in rugby, so shout out to you, Spencer, I assume that is. And give us a Southern Hemisphere ridiculous big call for the international rugby this year. Says Lucas, it would be. Is this Xavier on his other account? It's a very similar question to what we normally get from Xavier. But ridiculous big call, I don't know what that would be. Because would it be a big call to say that one of the Southern Hemisphere teams could actually lose the final of the North versus South Nations Cup. Is that a big call? That probably is quite a large call because that rules New Zealand, South Africa, Australia, all those sides in a little bit of trouble there. But I wouldn't be surprised. It is a competition that, in some regards, the fact that it can't be South versus South in the final. Nice run from Loganamasi down the wing. Just can't quite get it to stay in the field of play. When is the first sevens game you'll be doing? What time? Probably 4 a.m. Monday morning, New Zealand time. Thanakai Vata, the perfect one to fill the shoes of Bill Mata. Says Hosier. Yeah, I thoroughly enjoy the style that Thanakai Vata plays in terms of that physical ball running, getting in the breakdowns, taking the risks as well for his side. Sadly, is off the field at the moment with the yellow card, but he will come back fresh in the very near future. Now running this one forward. Oh, that was interesting. Antonio Wanga has just tried to punch a bloke on the ground. Or at least it looked that way after being tackled by him. That was a weird scenario. But it's going to be play. Oh no, that's bad. FIJIAN DRUA player. I believe that may have actually been the one who was frustrated, tries to flip over the man who made the tackle on him earlier on. And there's still a bit of push and shove going on in back play. I'm not sure what started that. But yeah, it resulted in one of the FIJIAN DRUA players losing his temper and dropping the opposition on his head in the breakdown. Number 7 was offside though. The Brumbies looking all right, says User. Oh, quick tap taken there by the Brumbies. Or sorry, by the Drua. Only 1 metre short. Now, getting that little bit closer over the goal line and scoring the try between the posts of FIJIAN DRUA. Oh, okay, now they're being told to calm down here again. The Drua, one of the players after scoring, slaps the ball into the head of the Brumbies player. They have to be very careful, definitely with the fact they've already received 2 yellow cards. So it's not like you want to play anything around the lines of ill-discipline, but Ilia Thanakai Vata, the man who does score, must have just made his way back from the bin in the last stoppage. I'm going to the Crusaders from Spencer. Another Brumbies cook, says User. They are currently feeling the fatigue from this first half, 37 minutes in. We're going to see the replay now for Ilia Thanakai Vata. Does manage to score it. And then does slam the ball into the Brumbies player. Do you think England can recover by the Rugby World Cup? Probably. I don't think they're actually like... I know that people go like England are in a really bad place, but it's just tactically at the moment. I think they need to realise that kicking the ball to your opposition 25 times in a game is going to result in the opposition trying to score tries against you. But that's a tactic that obviously Borthwick didn't consider in that game up against the Italians. Like, it's all well and good going for the high ball and playing that repeatedly, but if you're not winning the aerial challenge, all you're doing is putting yourself with the chance of a counter-attack. But, like, yeah, I don't get the tactics. I get that old school England used to use them a lot and they used to work quite nicely for them, but I feel like they don't work anymore. They haven't got those guys who are just so safe under the high ball that win them no matter what. Do you think Moana stand a chance tomorrow afternoon? Oh yeah, that's another game that's taken place, isn't it? I completely forgot about that one. Looks like I won't get much sleep on Sunday. We have got their Brumbies maybe feeling the heat under this humid sun, says Luke. Yeah, they are. Real feel of about 35 degrees at the moment, but the FIJIAN DRUA, they are leading currently by the 8 points. They have never beaten the Brumbies in a match of Super Rugby Pacific. Going back for the initial knock-on against the FIJIAN DRUA. Who's your favourite player? I don't actually know who I'd call as my favourite player per se. Across these two sides, I would probably say... For the Drua, I do like Bonipate Loganamasi, just because I have a soft spot for the guys who were in the 7 setup. Then for the Brumbies, I mean, someone like a Valentini is always impressive to watch. Like Raymer's doing very well in this game too. Now another scrum feed. 1 minute remaining, and coach so poor because he has not learnt from his mistakes and won't change tactics. England needs Scott Robertson badly, says Richard. Yeah, it's the fact that the tactics didn't work 1 week and then they decided to try the exact same tactics the next. Like, that's where the frustration comes in for a lot of English supporters. And I can guarantee you we'll see the same tactics up against France, or at least we shouldn't. If we saw something different, then I think a lot of people would actually be like, okay, they've learnt from their lessons finally, and we'll slightly forgive them a little bit. Halftime siren just sounding. It's actually about 30 seconds ahead of the clock up top. It does mean that if we have a stoppage now, it would be the end of this first half. Sevens finish tomorrow at 12 or 11:50. Yeah, that is Australia-USA, right? That is the last game there. That's a knock on. There's frustration there from Clayton Thorne, but it wasn't the best pass to his teammate there. So that will be the end of the half. The Fijian Drua leading 20 points to the 12. Brumbies attackers junk. Says Morgul. Sevens next week. Next week it is 7-2. So that is the likes of the men's Kenyan side, the German side, and then for the women's, the likes of Argentina, South Africa, etc. Cooper's back. Spencer's my mate. Do you live in New Zealand, bro? I do indeed, yes. Halfway between Christchurch and Dunedin, but 8 points separating these two teams. The Fijian Drua in control somehow. Once again, I have no idea how they set up by 8 points when they've conceded 2 yellow cards and have had to defend from in front of their goal line for most of the second portion of their half. But it just shows they ain't giving up. They're going to keep on fighting the Fijian Drua, and they want a record win up against the Brumbies in Bar. We have their note. Last time England sacked a coach, at least they got to a semi-final, but still you lost. Second Steve is with less than 2 years out, is not learning from the past. Vanaka for the commentary. Although, I do have to say, if there's any way, I don't know completely about Robertson's contract, Tanny. You'll probably have a bit more information on it than myself. But he's not allowed to be a head coach of a side, correct? In terms of Tier 1 teams. Is he allowed to be an assistant coach? Because is that something that England could look at, having him as an assistant rather than the head, and then either upgrading him to head coach or just keeping whoever's in there as they are? Who's your favourite Super Rugby team? I like the Hurricanes kit the best, but in terms of an actual favourite team, because I like players on all the sides, it makes it very hard to judge. Borthwick saying, "Was staying will only help New Zealand or Oz at the World Cup," says Morgul. Second half of this one. This is where the Brumbies may have to change their tactics a little bit. I'm also keeping an eye on the matchup. I mentioned how my side in cricket managed to win earlier on. So all they need now is for a team that is currently playing to lose, and we would be through to the semi-finals of the competition. Now, currently, the way that it sits, the side that need to lose are sitting on 58 for 3. I gave that update a while ago. They were 30 for 3. So they've actually had a very good partnership building. They're chasing 164 runs. I think that, yeah, it'll be interesting. They are facing the top of the table side too. They are the side that's set 163. I'm keeping a little bit of an eye on it. There were rumours John Mitchell could swap over to the men's team. Although he locked in for longer with the women, didn't he? I thought he locked into about 2029 or something like that. And Tosso Roa Tosso says Laitiana. My favourite is the Chiefs, says Mohadeen and Borthwick staying. I know I read that one about the New Zealand and Oz situation. England said they will beat Springboks by 50. When did they say that? And who said that? Because I can't imagine anyone would have said that without like some sort of irony in the equation. But just looking through at what is to come for these two sides. Both still have 2 more matches in March. Next weekend will be the Fijian Drua once again hosting an Australian side in the Reds. And the Blues versus the Fijian Drua. That is happening the week after at Eden Park. For the Brumbies, they play the Chiefs next week. Now, that game's at GIO Stadium. So that is a very handy one to have as a home field advantage. And then also the Brumbies taking on the Waratahs. I have to say, it's quite a handy draw for the Brumbies per se, with the fact that they're playing the Blues, the Chiefs, and then also, I want to say either the Highlanders or the Hurricanes, they are also playing at GIO Stadium. And then they've got the Tars the week after. That one in 14 or so days' time. We have got their Wenders Moana playing next. They are playing next weekend, and that is actually going to be up against the Chiefs. These are next week's games that are, not next week, sorry. They are playing the Crusaders. In next week's game, they played Moana last week, the Chiefs. But yeah, up against the Crusaders on the Saturday night fixture. And then the Brumbies, they have got their game up against the Chiefs on the Friday night alongside Highlanders versus Hurricanes, Waratahs Blues. That will be the final game of the Saturday. And we'll also be straight back into URC matches on the channel too. So plenty more to come in the relatively near future. Maybe, but I have no idea. Standing there. Yeah, it is something that, it has been mentioned a few times about the potential of kind of like a coach assistant to then be promoted in. Moana play my Blues tomorrow. Oh, yeah, no, that is true, actually. Sorry, they are playing. Although he said next week, though. So, yeah, next week it will be up against the Crusaders in Christchurch. When does the URC start? URC, there is a match taking place this weekend. That is between the Bulls and the Stormers, as well as a couple games that did take place Saturday morning. They were catch-up games involving the likes of Edinburgh after they had their game delayed due to weather. But what I will quickly do is I'll go like that. Yeah, so Ulster and Connacht were able to win the earlier games of said URC. And also, I take a look at 2018. England lost 3 games in 2018. Then 2019, they absolutely dominate the All Blacks and go to make a final, says Tanner too. Yeah, I think that people are ruling out England a little bit too fast. I mentioned about it last year up against the French. They only lost, they won by 1 point. The year prior to that in France, they only lost by 2. Like, the odds that they have at the moment up against the French, I think are pretty surprising. But yeah, you just never know how it's going to go. And the good news is it's the last game, so we'll know exactly what is needed in terms of the overall Six Nations competition by then. I think Moana beat the Blues tomorrow, says Baden. And best half of footy this year, like they all on the nose, says Crosimus. And I feel like the Southern Hemisphere will dominate Rugby World Cup next year, says Hosier. Or it might be actually, is it Hose or is it Hosier? Is it Hose a coffin or is it Hosier coffin? The Tigers are leading by 10, says Kiwi Rob. Who does the Crusaders got after Moana, says Baden. So for Moana Pacifica, that will be round 7. And they would be up against the Highlanders. That's happening as a home game, so North Harbour Stadium in Albany for that one. Just showing some of the highlights of this first half, though. That will be soon to get underway. The second, that is. Currently sitting, whereabouts are we? Sitting about 7 minutes into the halftime break. So there's probably actually still another 7 minutes or so before they do get back underway for this contest. Just looking through at the way that the table sits currently. If the Fijian Drua were to win by this margin, they would move themselves up to 8th place. So they can only go up 1, but it does put pressure on a few other sides. And also for the Brumbies, they would remain in 2nd place with potential of dropping with a few other sides getting to play in the very near future. Possession, though, 60% in favour of the Brumbies, 40% for the Fijian Drua. Time in opposition, 22. 4 minutes and 9 seconds for the Brumbies, but it only resulted in the 2 tries, whereas the Fijian Drua, they've only had around 90 seconds inside of Brumbies 22. They've been able to get up to the 20 points. Hose, as in Hose? Okay, so yeah, just Hose. I will remember that. Yeah, because it doesn't show me where the capitals are or where the gaps are with the ats now. Hello, how you doing? Says Hannah, doing very well. Must be early morning start for you, Hannah, in South Africa. Currently around 6:30 a.m. So bright and early for the big rugby day. Where can the Blues head up after this game tomorrow, says Kiwi Rob? I would say it's dependent, of course. Like, theoretically, the Blues, if they had a really one-sided affair up against Moana, could sit number 1. But at the same time, there's still a lot that can happen outside of that. If the Waratahs manage to get themselves a comfortable win over the Reds, that changes things a bit more. If the Blues don't receive a bonus point, I would say, though, top 3 for the Blues if they do end up winning up against Moana. Maybe 4th at a stretch. We see a couple other sides do very well. But there's still a lot of different changes that can happen up till that stage. So there's not really any guarantee. Who does Crusaders play after the bye? Says Baden. I feel like at this stage you could look at a draw. But the Crusaders, after their bye, they are playing the Fijian Drua. That is the last game actually taking place at the old stadium in Christchurch. Go the Drua, says Stitalai. And also we have got there, where can the Crusaders place if they win tonight? Once again, it all depends on what happens in the other games. Of course, like just at this stage, the Crusaders can go theoretically as high as 6th. Probably realistically still in 8th though, even with the win. depending on if they get a bonus point or not. If they get a bonus point, they go up to 6th. But there is a chance that they could still end up in 8th just with a little bit of a boost. Take that spot back from the FIJIAN Drua, who would have it at that stage if they win this game. Luke Raymer should seriously be considered for the Wallabies lineup. Says Hose. I agree. I think that he's been one of those guys that, like, he just continues to impress. What round are we in? I've lost track. We are to round 5 of the competition at the moment, so still plenty of time remaining. It'll be interesting, the Reds versus Blues game under the roof, says Kiwi Rob. And Drua and Dollar Drua says Tips and there as well. So we all asked the question, can the FIJIAN Drua win this game from here, ladies and gentlemen? Currently, they do sit with an 8-point lead. Of course, a lot can happen. In the near future, we got the Reds after Fiji. The Crusaders dies, says Baden. Now, second half, I think that the Brumbies will have to come out firing in this second 40. And all Hamish, I just woke up. I just watched the previous 4 rounds on my dad's phone after the competition. I didn't set my live stream, so I did not miss your live stream. Or sorry, did set your alarm rather than your live stream. Well, that is commitment. Definitely because of the fact that it is 6:30 on a Saturday in the morning. So it's going to make it a long weekend, but we've still got plenty more coming up. We've got 5 more games of rugby. Also, alongside that, we've got the cricket tomorrow that we're going to be covering. We've got the Crusaders in Brisbane. And says Abaden, also Brumbies will smoke. Second half, are you streaming the Highlanders game? We certainly are. So Highlanders Crusaders will be the 7 o'clock game that we do cover on the channel. If the Crusaders lose tonight, will that be them finished? What do you think? I don't think so. I think that there's been enough upsets along the way. As you can see there, everyone inside of the top 6 has lost at least 1 game. For the Crusaders, they would have lost 4. They've played some pretty tough opposition in the early stages of this competition, though. So you got to consider the fact that, like, for the Crusaders, right? Of course, everyone wants to rule them out early, but the situation is they've got Moana next week, which I believe they should win that game. They still have to play the FIJIAN Drua in Christchurch, which you give them a decent chance of winning that. They play the Western Force. They play the Waratahs. The Reds game might be a bit more 50-50. And then they've got a finish of all New Zealand derby. So I still give the Crusaders probably 5 more wins realistically throughout this season. That's another 20 extra points. I think that will put them close to the top 6 mark. If they can win a couple of their derbies up against New Zealand sides, 5 or 6 is not out of the question for the Crusaders, even if they were to lose another game up against the Highlanders in the near future. South Africa versus New Zealand. Drua should debut there. 6-10 lock already, says Hosen there. But yeah, they've got a couple opportunities. I know they've got 1 debutant. We have got there 7 o'clock to New Zealand. Do daylight savings already. I think, no, we're still on the same time zone that we have been. At least I think we are, unless I've missed an hour somewhere along the lines. I think it's the end of March, first weekend of April, or first Sunday of April, I think it might be, that we end up switching. May the best team win, says Lozana there. If Drua keeps the first half intensity, they will win, says Liza. And Vanaka Rua says Tups. And also, we've got their Brumbies will smoke the second half. And the thing is, they've got the benefit of that 3-minute cool-down stage. Europe is also doing it 29th of March. Okay, so it is similar in that regard. You guys do it, I guess, at the end of March, whereas I think we do it at the start of April. So that's probably just actually time zones, to be fair, the way that that's worked out. But just about to get underway. This pitch is looking very nice. The stadium's looking great as well. First game of Super Rugby Pacific, played in Bar. Looks like a great setup in terms of some of those other boxes and everything. We see there Virumi Vakatawa. He is in the in the commentary box at this stage. Is he? He's not injured, is he? Vakatawa. He's not on the injury list anyway. He's only played the 1 game in pre-season. And that seems to be the only time that we've actually got to see him play. Which is quite interesting. But the penalty kicks have been great from Armstrong. Ravula getting both of them over. And he's actually sitting 100% accuracy off the tee currently. Possession was less for the FIJIAN Drua throughout that first half. But it hasn't made a difference, as at this point in time, they do lead by 8. Just slightly more metres carried for the Drua. Defenders beat him 13-10 in favour of the Drua as well. And the penalty count relatively even between the two sides. 6 against the Drua and 5 against the Brumbies. 43 more days till the new stadium opens. So here's Baden. Yeah, it is getting very close. That's only, 6 weeks away from coming. Tackle percentage, 84% for the Fijian Drua. And their goal line defence was something that I feel really helped them out. Who has a better record, Drua or Moana? I believe Fijian Drua do. Although I think Moana have beaten them a few times throughout their meetings. So first game we saw Moana win of 2025. That was actually in Fiji. That was considered quite the upset. Last year, oh no, it must be Moana actually, because last year Moana were able to win it at home as well. So that is 2-0 for Moana at this stage. 2024, the Drua were able to win. That makes it 2-1. Moana won game as well, so that's 3-1 Moana. We'll slowly find it out as the overall record. Fijian Drua won it the year prior, so that's 2-3. They did play, and Fijian Drua won it, so that's 3-all. And then Fijian Drua won it in 2022. And it looks like they just played the once. So yeah, Fijian Drua have a 4-3 record over Moana Pacifica. Vakatawa played at 12 against Moana Pacifica in the first round. Yeah, and since then, they've just gotten rid of him, which seems a little bit strange. He's not injured, is he? Because he's not on the injury list. I've only got a Peli Momo and one other fella on that list. But it seems like if you're going to bring in a French international and a guy with a huge amount of experience around the world, wouldn't you play him more? Like in these type of matches? Unless they're just trying to save him for later on. We have Vanaka Bro, says Timothy. And there is a better record. Highlanders or Crusaders at home? No idea. I know that of the last 9 games, the Crusaders have won more though. And also, what do you think about Brody Retallick's form in Japan lately? Says, he's in insane form. He's sitting number 1 in the top try scorers department, isn't he? At the moment, hi Hamish, says, Joe, welcome in. Right. The weather has changed, ladies and gents. It was sunny in the first half. Now it is absolutely pouring for the second half. Bulla Brother says, Asala, I think we're going to see a little bit more kicking now between these two sides. I'm actively looking for the next Tui Pelotu, which is why I'm looking at players like Fiti Sa for the Chiefs or Ali Fasio Aho for Moana Pacifica, who is 134 kgs. He a big boy in that department. I can't believe it was so sunny in the first half, and now it's just absolutely drenched at the stadium. It does not make the crowd not love what's happening, though. We see it there. That looks like one of the local Fijian sides celebrating big time at this new stadium in Bar. Does the Fiji play Brumbies again this year? No, I believe they just play them the once. Or do they? I think they play them just once. What time does the URC and Six Nations game start today? So if you're looking at New Zealand time, the match of URC between the Bulls and the Stormers starts at 1 a.m. Alongside that, we get to see the Six Nations start at 3:10. And then the last game of the Six Nations is at 9:10. And Crusaders should win today. Cesar Sala. Top performers at the moment. Meters gained. Eliza Drua. Cece has the most for the Drua. And Andy Muirhead has the most for the Brumbies. So it does mean that the 15's heavily involved. The Brumbies vs Fiji play again on the 18th of April. Oh, okay, so they do have another head-to-head. So they count as one of the rivalry matches, as they call it, for the Fijian Drua. Don't know how good that is for the Drua in terms of that side of the rivalry, as they have never beaten this Brumbies side. But there could be history made here for this contest. Crusaders should win today. Says Asala. Yeah, maybe. Highlanders have been not too bad, though, throughout the season. They've had some solid wins. They've had some consistency, too. They're playing Fiji at home at GIO. Says Baden. Right, making their way back out onto the field now for these two sides. That was a long halftime break. Feel like it was a bit of a party atmosphere at the stadium. There was music playing and the crowd were well and truly into it. But I don't think they wanted the halftime break to end in this matchup. I'm here, come on Fiji. Says Moa Hunters, but they will also have that 3-minute break period, 20 minutes through this match for the second half. And now ready to go. Second 40, the draw up by 8. I think for the live says Asala there. And of course, we've got plenty more coming up in the near future. We will be covering some of the sevens tomorrow and giving updates on that Fiji Sevens campaign. They are tied with South Africa at the moment in terms of the standings. They are hoping to get that one big win that puts them to the top of the competition. When does Super Rugby final start, says Baden? Still not for another couple months at least for the final side of things. They've got to get through all the regular round matches first. But I believe it's similar to last year, how it will be the top 6 playoff. And then the top team, or the top 2 teams, in fact, I believe, will have themselves the lifeline. Oh, no, in fact, sorry, it will be whoever's the highest ranked has the lifeline. I remember that is what happened for the Chiefs last year, but they would lose their home final if that is the case. What do you think about Fiji playing England and England and being dubbed as a home game for Fiji? I think it's pretty rough. Like, it just seems not very fair. Like, if you're going to play a game, I get it, Fiji probably are going to make more money from that game taking place in England than it would have had they played it in Fiji, but it's a bit of a kick in the face to the local fans. I would have loved to go to watch England play in Fiji for that contest. Now charging forward here for Antonio Wanga. I can't believe Espana were in the final. They've done very nicely, though, with the 7 side of things, and they have been due a final because, last year they were actually in the semis quite a few times. But they're getting closer to winning their first ever. Paul Pla being back for them seemed to be a massive boost, as well as having someone like a Saint Strapanga making his way off the bench with Ceres Lopez all in the starting side. That one's kicked a bit too hard from the FIJIAN Drua, so they'll go back to where it was kicked from with the scrum. What time will you start the Crusaders live stream, says Baden? I think it's scheduled for 6:55. We might change it to 7, though. And you think the Crusaders make the finals again? They have to get a few more wins to be in a position to do so. But it wouldn't surprise me. They've got a strong enough squad. 45 metres out from the line at the moment, the Brumbies. They've got their own scrum feed, but taking Pollard off this early was quite an interesting choice. He's been close to scoring a couple times, Pollard. So maybe injury related for that man's absence. FIJIAN Drua and the Brumbies coaches, they've got some pretty nice boxes at this new stadium in Bar. Now we have got there, whereas Germany in the sevens, are they in Tier 2? They are Tier 2, yes. And finished, they actually won the Tier 2 sevens, I believe it was. Oh, that one's going to be in the hands of the Brumbies. And I want to throw the drill. Wait, I want to throw the drill, be behind, and I'm shocked. So why are you throwing a drill, Kyle? Showing there, just a knock on from Andy Muirhead. And Brumbies need to try to stay in the game, says Big Rig. Yeah, they can't afford to let this one slip. One more try to the FIJIAN Drua. Definitely with the fact that now the ball is pretty slippery after that rain that did fall at half time. You can't really afford to give the draw momentum in Fiji. I think New Zealand Sevens make the final in New York. Probably not. They're in a tough group. They've got Australia, France, and also South Africa. I think the chances are relatively slim. Now, big push there. FIJIAN Drua with the ball in hand for Ilia Thana-Kaivata, though. Now, off to the left-hand side, Lamani going away. Kicking behind from Antonio Wanga. That is the danger of that man. The fact that he offers the skills of a back, but he's in the full-back. He's already scored down the wing in this contest as well. But that is going to be now a FIJIAN Drua line out. About 10 metres out from the line. In fact, even closer than that. Probably only 10 metres out from the line here. A group of death, yeah, it's definitely a tough one. Although, you could also argue that Fiji's group, with the exception of maybe Great Britain, they've got Argentina and Spain. Spain, a side that recently beat the Fijians. Argentina also have beaten the Fijians in just last week's Vancouver Sevens. So Fiji are going to have to get themselves some redemption if they want to make it through to the next stage. Nice take in the line out. Rolling maul seems to be the tactic that we're going to see here for the FIJIAN Drua. Brumbies versus Chiefs will be a good match of the weekend, next weekend. It should be a very awesome one. Definitely if we see The Brumbies play their best, getting close, and on debut, the young man gets the try. Sairusi Ravudi scores the try for the FIJIAN DRUA as they now take firm control of this contest, 25-12 at the moment, the way that it sits. Good afternoon, Kiwi Lads channel, says Akhtar, welcome in. You are doing extremely well, GG Brumbies are done, says user. Brilliant work from the FIJIAN DRUA there. I've just said there that on Tuesday this man was working at the water factory and now he's got himself a debut try for the FIJIAN DRUA. Larkham's had a brain fade, says Morgrul. And the drawer on fire, and what number get the try? Number 2. He wasn't initially going to be the starting number 2 either. Zariel Tungiatama was ruled out late due to sickness. It brought in this young man on debut, and he's just got his first FIJIAN DRUA try. And the Brumbies are now under the pump, absolutely. If this kick goes over from Armstrong Ravula, even more so. He's had 100% accuracy, 4 from 4 today. The rain is absolutely pouring too, which will cause less. Oh, it's hit the post and bounced away. So the difference between these two sides is still sitting 25-12, 13 points separating them with another 35 minutes to go. You think Blues beat Moana? They should do. I'd be very surprised if they didn't. The Blues, I believe, the biggest favourite of this round, or was it the Hurricanes up against the Force? Now this one, slapped back by Nick Frost, claimed by the Brumbies, who have to answer back with a try of their own in the very near future. Welcome, Brumbies, to something special you will only find in Bar Tosa Drua Tosa. Says, look, yeah, I can guarantee you right now, the FIJIAN DRUA, they'll be wanting a few more games taking place in Bar if they get 100% winning record up against a side that they have never beaten before in this competition. Will there be a live stream for the game? I believe so. We'll be heavily sleep deprived, but we will try and put some sentences almost together. In that case, Bowen running forward. Brumbies in possession. Tane Edmed going off the left-hand side. Pritchard has to clean it up. Trying to get that steal there. Were the big FIJIAN DRUA forwards. What happens if the Springbok Sevens win the game? Which game? The one up against New Zealand? Or like all of their games? Now 9 phases in a row here for the Brumbies. Told to use it again. Brumbies are was once an unbeatable team. Well, up until this game, they have never been beaten by the FIJIAN DRUA. So until this one reaches the 80-minute siren and the draw are ahead at full time, they are theoretically still an unbeaten side up against this FIJIAN DRUA side. And it is a brilliant 50-22 from Armstrong Ravula as the DRUA just start to pile on all of the pressure here. And Fiji, they haven't beat the Reds before, says Baden. And Tosa Drua Tosa make it count, says Laitiana. Right, time has been turned off now. They've got more subs coming and more rain falling for this matchup too. Playing their B team was a poor coaching decision, says Morgrul. You know, you can kind of understand it a little bit, I would say, with the fact that they had a tough game last week up against the Reds. If he had gone with the same lineup and they had lost again, he would have been criticised as well. They would have said, why didn't you make changes to a side that lost? So, yeah, it's not an easy job being a coach. He would have put together a side that he felt was strong enough here. The draw won 36-33 on May 25th in Suva, while the Reds won 52-7. Suncorp Stadium, May 21st, or May 31st, 2025. And yeah, the FIJIAN DRUA even beat the Reds before. They have got the win over the Reds. The only two sides that they haven't beaten in Super Rugby are the Brumbies and also the Chiefs. Oh wow, this rain is absolutely bucketing down now. The ball goes into touch. Do you know what the population in Fiji is? It's not very high at all in terms of some of these other sides. Fiji population is between 950,000 to 960,000 in terms of the population. And where is the game at? It is being played at Bar, so not Latoka, not Suva, a new location for the FIJIAN DRUA, and the weather has definitely hit for the second half. Did you answer my question? Not really, because you weren't very specific with it. You said the whole game, but like the whole game up against New Zealand, the whole game is in like every game of the tournament. Looks like Luke Raymer might be injured here in the breakdown. Not looking too flash at the moment. Ball's getting slippery, but the draw in position again. Georgie Nasova offloading it up now. The most recent try scorer, and they have got a stoppage as Raymer is still down. Usual Edmed garbage, such a bad player. They won the comp, says Hose. Who's got the ball, says Gavin NZ. It is going to be a scrumpy for the FIJIAN DRUA, as there was the injury to Luke Raymer. So a bit of a stoppage now, though, just while they end up sorting him out. When does Fiji play again in Suva? 1 second. We'll go like this and like that. So for the FIJIAN DRUA, they play up against the Reds in Lautoka next week. Then the week after that, they're away. The week after that, they're away. They've got the Force and Lautoka. And then, of course, Super Round, they'll be away from home. Up against the Highlanders, they're in Bar. I don't know if they've got too many more games. Oh, there it is. HBF or HFC Bank Stadium in Suva. That is 62 days' time, so 2 months. Can you say Domitil? I'll try not to butcher the pronunciation. Is it Domitilla? Domitilla? Have I said that correctly, or have I really butchered it? I do apologise if I've said it wrong. Domitilla? Starting to roll off the tongue a little bit more. The Brumbies can still win. They absolutely can. They are down by 2 converted tries at the moment, but theoretically they can get straight back into the contest. And who does Fiji play in 62 days? The Waratahs. Now a free kick goes the way of the FIJIAN DRUA. It is always crazy to see how quickly the weather can change. Like if someone had tuned in for the early stages, not you guys, sorry, I mean him, Sister Matilda. But yeah, like start of the game, you see the sunshine and you go, okay, this is a game taking place. And then if you looked in now, you'd say, is this a replay of a different game that wasn't on the same day? It is absolutely pouring down. Guys, I don't know the sport, but people who know about this, do you think Brumbies can still win? Okay, so you're trying to bet on it, is all you've just said there, isn't it? Oh, Lamani tackled low. I will give you the same advice that we gave to many other people. Do not bet on Super Rugby. You'd just be pretty much donating your money to your bookie. Now rolling this one back. How about the crowd chaos in the NRL last night? Never saw it, unfortunately. Was it the Warriors game or the game other than that? The ball's in the hands of the Brumbies, sitting 5 metres out from the goal line. Byron make his way on early for Pollard. And that one's going to be kicked into touch. Did you see Alex Johnson broke the NRL world record? I did not, although it doesn't surprise me because he was close, wasn't he? So managed to get the job done. Now the Brumbies, it looks like another change is being made. Can you say Viliami? Says Ratu there. Now line out throw, 10 metres out from the line. Masaki Donge having the conversation about what they're going to do with this line out throw. I will mention Ilya Thanakaivate. He's been taken off the field for Tuai. Makes his way off of the bench. What's for dinner tonight, Hamish? I don't think I'll get to have it until probably later on, but I'll find something quick, hopefully. Either that or we'll just eat after that England versus France match. And Lamani now, the ball in hand. They just keep this one in their grasp. The FIJIAN DRUA, less handling errors would be massive for them. Armstrong Ravula delays the kick across field. Great hands out wide from Fiji. Off foot there. And Eliza Drua CC scores another try for the Fijians. And they now lead this game 30 points to 12. They're up by 18 now, up against this Brumbies side, playing to the conditions well and truly for this FIJIAN DRUA team. I mentioned here the eyes up rugby style of the FIJIAN DRUA, looking at what is happening and then from there adapting with an offload on the outside from Georgie Nasova. Incredible work, says Pro Pleb, and Totoko DRUA. Vanaka Hamish says Tups there. And also Alex's mother is from Papua New Guinea, says Phil Franklin. He did play for them in the last World Cup, didn't he? For the PNG side. Reds beat the Waratahs 2 times last year. Geez, the Sparta type play from Buller. And it's raining Drua. Just too fast, blink and you'll miss it, says Luke. Yeah, they are now well and truly in control. But Armstrong Ravula, he missed his last kick. Domitilla, I should say. It said, let's go Fiji. Now keeping the kick low. And gets it over as well. Fantastic kick. Making the score 32 points to 12. Did you see Origin coming to New Zealand next year? I did. It's at Eden Park, isn't it? That they're going to have the State of Origin game. As Asawa Tuwai going in. He has just made his way onto the field about a maybe minute before that last line out. 30 is so cool. Says Domitilla. You're now 32 for the FIJIAN DRUA as well. They lead this game by 20 points. We see Rory Scott come on for Ramo, Lonergan on for Thorne, Meredith on for Edmed. They have got some pretty handy options off of the bench, the Brumbies, but have they left it too little too late to be able to get back into the contest? Almost a handling error. Going off to the left-hand side once more. This would have to be close to the most points that the FIJIAN DRUA have ever scored up against this Brumbies side too. Why don't they play Origin at Christchurch at the new stadium? Says Baden. They may look at doing it in the future if they continue the trend of having someone or like one of those games in New Zealand. But for now, I think Eden Park's a decent location to pick. Tosa Dura Toso. There too, a lot of support for the Fijians. I know now the Brumbies trying to grab her in behind was Hudson Crichton. Bounce of the ball is favourable. Although the kick from Drua Sisi is poor. And the penalty goes the way of the Brumbies for accidental offside. Do you know Tuisova? I do indeed know Joshua Tuisova. Oh. 8, 12, 8. Wait, did he say 8 and 12 HIA? But either way, I believe the Brumbies have got an HIA here. Can you move out from the screen? We want to watch the game in action. There's nothing happening behind me. As you can see, there's just the stadium. But in terms of the coverage, it is on Sky Pacific. I saw that there's actually an option in Fiji for watching this one for about $2 a game. On another, it's like a mobile app. I don't know what it's called though. I can't quite remember. And we have got Avanaka Drua, says Latiana. How was the weather today? Weather here's nice. Weather in Fiji was sunny at the start of the game. Now it is completely pouring down with rain. About 5 metres out from the line, the Brumbies trying to find their way back into the contest. Bowen throws it in, but it's nicely stolen by the Drua. Pressure on Isaiah Armstrong Ravula. He's forced back into his in-goal area. He's dropped the ball, and Brumbies pick it up and score. Mistake there from the Drua, trying to rush the exit. They didn't want the 5 metre scrum, but I think Armstrong Ravula, he hung on to that ball for just a little bit too long, and the Brumbies now get back into the game. Vodafone Pay says Sapphire for the option there. The Stampede says Sock. No, not good, says Pro Pleb. Yeah, this Brumbies side, they are not out of this game as of yet. Don't get me wrong, it is still going to be a massive challenge, but they need those kicks to keep on going over if they want a chance of winning this match. There's still plenty more Super Rugby action to come throughout this one too. The ref, I know ref, I'm not sure about what else that is. Is it that you're saying the ref's done good or the ref's done bad? Limp Biscuit. Now Ryan Lonergan taking over the kicking responsibilities here. And that one goes away to the side, so that will keep the score at 32-17, which now is the equivalent of 2 converted tries ahead for this FIJIAN DRUA side. And we have got there, how long is Bar from Suva? I think it's about a 3.5 hour drive to get there. Anderson now on the field for Whitiwai. Brumbies on that if you get off me type stuff. And Tosa Trua Toso says Siriana. Right, ready to get back underway. Oh, there's almost a little knock on from Armstrong Ravula just in the process of getting ready to kick this one off. Different type of heat and bar. Yeah, the humidity is strong, which is why they are going to be having the break, which involves 3 minutes for cooling down, although the players, they'll be enjoying the rain quite a bit other than that humidity side of things. And also we have got there, can you say Biz? And there's Litiana there. And how is the food place by you, Hamish? Which one we talking? The fish and chip shop's not too bad, to be fair. We have got there, hey from Ellie, welcome in. If you are doing well, currently it is absolutely bucketing down for this game in Fiji, but the FIJIAN DRUA looking to make a bit of history. What happened to James Slippert? They are saving him for his record match at home. So that is why he's not playing in this contest and also not making his way off the bench. Can you say Biz? I can. I said it before as well. Promising week because they perform well at home, but away from home, the other one, says Kyle, nicely taken by the FIJIAN DRUA at line out time, 40 metres out from their own line. It just said there that they've spotted Mick Byrne in the stands watching this game. This one's kicked up high. Oh, knock on from Hudson Crichton. It was knocked back by the Brumbies. It was almost accidental offside. In fact, it is ruled as such, so it will be a free kick for the FIJIAN DRUA. And up my Fiji boys, says Poppy. When does the Brumbies play at home? I believe they play at home next week. Up against the Chiefs. You have any predictions on Crusaders Highlanders? I'm hoping it will be close. 6 of the last 9 matches between the two sides have been separated by 3 or less. So hopefully we get that again here. I don't want to see a one-sided game though. I feel like seeing it go down to the wire would be quite good for those two sides. Although if either we're going to run away with it, I think it would probably be the Crusaders, even though the Highlanders are doing well. It's just a weird thing that happens sometimes at Orange Theory Stadium. Now backline movement again here for the FIJIAN DRUA as they sit 30 metres out from the line. Taken there by Samavore. We haven't mentioned him too often throughout this match, but here Reti hit it. Chopped down. That ball comes out the side and picked up by Bowen. The Brumbies back in possession. Go on left-hand side. Off of the bench, some of their players looking to make an impact, including Ryan Lonergan, who passes on the outside to Crichton again. Back on the inside to Lonergan. It's a brilliant individual bit of work from both those two men. And the try is scored by the Brumbies. This game is still not over yet. As Will Jordan back this week, says Pro Pleb. He is playing at number 15 in that contest. Can the Brumbies win now, says Litiana. They theoretically can with the amount of tries that they are scoring in just quick succession. There's still 21 minutes remaining in this game, but it's gone from 32-12 to now 32 points to 22 in just a matter of moments. Brumbies has no chance of win now, says Litiana. He said the Brumbies are done, says BTW Padza. And isn't it interesting what happens when he is off? Says Morgrew, and also here comes the man from Snowy River. A FIJIAN DRUA will win, says Losalini, and that would be their first ever win up against the Brumbies if they can do so. Still a lot of work to do. This is an important kick for Ryan Lonergan. They just suck, says Poppy, in terms of no one likes the Crusaders. Now this one does miss away to the side for Lonergan. So 10 points separating these two sides. Now they've mentioned the FIJIAN DRUA. They have to be extremely careful with the amount of time that is remaining. I like the Chiefs, but my dad is a hard Satyrs fan. Says Poppy. And also you have got there Snowy Mountain, sorry. Australia Little, and it's over, says Letiana. Oh, I thought for a second that they were bringing Ryan Lonergan off, but then it was just because of the drinks break that they are having now. It is 3 minutes. Well, the Wild Horse is getting a whipping, says Bad to the Bone. It's lucky it didn't come in about 5 minutes ago, Bad to the Bone, because they were only on 12 points. Since then, they've scored 2 tries in the last 3 or 4 minutes, and they are now right back in this game. It seems like we've reached a bit of a turning point here, but they were down by 20 at one stage in this contest, which I don't think anyone was predicting for this game. But currently, the Brumbies, to come back and win this game, they are $5.50 underdogs, which tells you that they haven't got a huge chance here. But it also is not impossible. One more try here for the Brumbies could definitely change the momentum and the way that this match goes. Right, water has been called off. And they're back now underway. If Fiji will get another try, I reckon, says Pro Plebe. I actually think they need one too. 32 points I don't believe will be enough to beat this Brumbies team with how the Brumbies have gone since making a few of their changes. When does the Landers get Finn Hurley back? 4 more weeks, I believe, he is out for. And we see Tinieri making his way on for Hireti Hitit. So a couple more changes made for the Drua as well, just trying to freshen up the team as this match gets close to its end. Pull your socks up, Fiji, try time. And also, Fiji will get another try, and Brumbies will win, says Beast. And can't Brumbies kick, says Mohadeen. They have missed their last couple of kicks. Now, of course, it's not the easiest conditions, and we've actually seen the Drua start to miss a few kicks as well. But Armstrong Ravula, I believe he's missed his last two. Oh, nice take there for Pone Patel, looking a must-see. To be tackled hard by Coyotes. And another try for Team Brumbies. We have got their Fiji rules. Says Poppy. And there too. And the other man, bro, says MPT. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciated. You're being there. Going off to the right-hand side. Ponipati Logan Amasi. Numbers here for the draw. Oh, was that a mistake from the drawer? Not passing it on the outside. May have blown the try opportunity, but finds Leliawasa. Big knock on from the FIJIAN DRUA. You just think maybe that was a bit of a turning point in this contest. Now kick downfield. Kitioni Salawa. It's the man who didn't go for that next pass too greedy, says bad to the bone. Yeah, that was the time to just keep that ball moving around. I hear Hamish is banned for a year. You're telling me is it paid leave, or is it that I have to actually still do something during that time? Because I would happily take a year off in terms of getting to go on holiday, watch some rugby in person. Be ideal. But I can't afford to if it's not paid leave. Come on, the Brumbies, says user. I think there will be a rare card in the Crusaders versus Highlanders, says Pro Pleb. Now the Brumbies back in possession round the halfway line. What time is the first Six Nations game? 3:10 a.m. Now kicked off. High again. With the box kick attempted. Knocked back by the Brumbies. They've scooped it in a backwards direction. And it's now there. The FIJIAN DRUA in the breakdown. And the penalty won by Kitione Salawa. Brumbies have got it. Brumbies has got one more trick. Oh, sorry. The Brumbies have no more tricks. It's paid leave, says Mohadeen. Now Valeve Miramira about to make his way onto the field. They've got the 6-2 split here for the FIJIAN DRUA in this match. As Armstrong Ravula, 18 minutes left, 10 points separating these two sides. Again, this game, as much as it feels like it should be over, I just don't think it is yet. There's still a chance that the Brumbies can come back. They would need 2 tries in 17 minutes, which they have been known to get. Well, Jordan going to win by $2. I'll win by $2 tonight. What was he paying though, Pro Plebe? Surely he wasn't paying that much to score, right? It would have only been maybe what, $1.90, $2 something maybe. Oh, nice take there from the DRUA. Looked like a knock on from the Brumbies, but it seems like it's going to be play on. Go the DRUA. Says Poppy there too. Oh, big knock on though from the from the DRUA this time. They should have already had the scrum feed. Ryan Lonergan looking for the kick downfield. Doesn't get a lot of distance nor height on it. No, not much, says Pro Plebe. He tries scoring for the next game. I think we'll see quite a few between the Crusaders and the Highlanders, or at least I hope it is more high scoring than we saw the last time that they played. That looked like a 4 pass from Andy Muirhead. Kick downfield, told to retreat. This one's going to pull up, or at least it should. Yes, in the in-goal area. Almost. Oh, just rolls over enough. Touches the sideline. And they're going to go all the way back to where that one was kicked from. I want mince pies covered in sauce, says Sock. Is it mince, plain mince, or mince and cheese, Sock? I should sleep earlier tonight for golf, says BTW Pads and $1.82, says Pro Pleb. Probably not bad with the consideration of how often he does score, but that ball just did one extra rotation more than the Brumbies would have liked. Okay, the scrum is called. Oh no, in fact, yeah, it is a scrum. The FIJIAN DRUA are trying to take a line out. Are you working Monday, Hamish? Probably not until the afternoon, I would say. And DRUA all the way, says Lithiana, and 13 plus, says Poppy. Only 16 minutes left in this matchup as well. Thuckleball makes his way on for Ravudi, who did score on his debut. Now your reply is enough greasy chips to feed a horse, Hammy. Your reply is enough greasy chips. What's that for? Oh, for the mince pie side of things. And thank you for the updates, appreciated. Says Beverly, no worries at all. And we are going to be here, of course, for plenty more matches throughout not just this weekend, but also for the FIJIAN DRUA season. I do want to mention later on we get to see the Fijian Sevens in action. And that is going to be up against, first of all, Argentina. Almost a knock on there from the FIJIAN DRUA front rower, Penny Ravai. I'm yet to decide between Cody Taylor, Will Jordan, says Pro Pleb. They would be about the same, right? Cody Taylor hasn't scored a lot of tries recently, which makes you wonder if he is due for one. Now back across to the right, yeah, the drawer, dominating position just in this last little patch. That's the way that it has to remain. They're currently up. Oh, that's a mistake from the drawer. Going for the kick from Armstrong, Ravoa, Hudson Crichton almost getting the turnover there. Friends don't have friends. That doesn't quite make sense, Mohadin. Now left-hand side finds a Leliwasa. Cross to Valive, mirror. Couple extra metres for him and penalty advantage. The Brumbies going and off their feet. Armstrong, Ravola, flat ball to Frank Lomani. Now steal for Lonergan in the breakdown, but they will go back for the initial penalty advantage. Hey, Amos, show the boys your pants. Says Mr. Delmo. I do have shorts on today rather than the pants, unfortunately. And surely Brumbies do tries. Says Hughes, and this is a chance here for the FIJIAN DRUA to add the additional 3 to use up a bit more time off the clock and put more pressure on this Brumbies side. Now 14 minutes left. Lamani does point at the post. Strategically waited that little bit longer as well. Christian Leo Willie did get 3 tries last week, so maybe he's got a chance. Says Pro Pleb. Yeah, it's a tricky one because I assume you're only picking one try scorer, right? Show the boys your shorts. Says Delmo. They're really basic. They're just plain grey shorts. There's nothing special about them. Brumbies kick the ball outside to end the game. Says Beast. And come on the draw, says Letian Armstrong Bravola. He's currently sitting 5 from 6 off of the kicking tee. Do you think Dave Rennie will do well as AB's coach? I think he'll go all right. It's very hard to judge depending, we don't even know what his squad's going to look like yet. I want a mince pies covered in sauce, enough greasy chips to feed a horse. I want a Molenberg. She wants a Molenberg. Keep it me fed. Haven't you heard? I've never heard that rhyme before, but it did rhyme. So that's a good start. That one's going to be the 3 points added for the FIJIAN DRUA now. Score sits 35-22. Yeah, only one try score. I don't bet seriously. Only $2 a game, says Pro Pleb. That's actually, it's a good way to do it, really. That way, if you lose, it's like a donation. And you don't, have to stress about the whole matchup. Although, if you are only doing $2 a game, are you better off backing someone who's a higher odd for the chance of really tripling or quadrupling your money instead of a guy who looks likely to score? You know, taking a risk going with a lock or a prop or someone. On left-hand side now. Rob Valentini, knock on there, accidental offside. In fact, no, on purpose offside is the ruling from the referee. Tosa Drua Tosa, says Mr. Fiji Bati. Kicking this one downfield. The Drua deciding they wanted to take it quickly. Pressure on Andy Muirhead. In fact, that time it was Kai Oates who just has to boot that ball into touch. Will now be a 5-metre line out for the FIJIAN DRUA. Morning from a cold, early Tipperary. Looking forward to the Scots versus Ireland game later. It should be an absolutely awesome one. And we are going to be covering that one on the channel too. By then, we would have done 3 matches before that, so hopefully the voice is still well and truly intact. The FIJIAN DRUA, they are up by 13 now with 12 minutes left on the clock. And it is forever ticking away that little bit quicker. Now, Whakobau. Nicely taken by the FIJIAN DRUA. Big chopping tackle there. Mistake from the DRUA hands. They're currently retreating. Ponepati, Logan and Masi. They lost 35 metres from that line out, the FIJIAN DRUA. But the benefit that they've got is they lost 35, but they've still got possession, so can take it all back. This is surprising. Says Sasha, thanks for the update. Says Sarina in there. No worries at all. So another 11 minutes to go, though. Long time for FIJIAN DRUA. But the Brumbies would need 2 successful conversions to get themselves through to win this game. And that is without any sort of tries coming from the FIJIAN DRUA or 3-pointers. Up to 7 phases in a row for the DRUA. The rain has stopped. It was a torrential downpour earlier on in the contest. Told to get out of it again. for the Drua. Back across now. Cross kick is on the cards. 40 metres across field to Ponepati Loganamasi. Ball on the inside. Can't quite get through though for Misaki Fothi. Nice live commentary, says John. Thank you very much. Got plenty more coming in. An advantage now to the Fijian Drua. That may just about be the game now, ladies and gentlemen. Brumbies are done. Says user, the 10 minutes is coming. Says Litiana there too. I said the Drua will win. Says Losalini. Now kicked in behind. Waiting for the bounce of the ball. Samu Vorre passes it off to Eliza Drua Sisi. It looks like a try. There were questions of a knock-on, but if it is not, they have just won themselves the game, the Fijian Drua, surely with the amount of time remaining. And Tosa Drua Toso says Ratu in there. The second try of the contest for Eliza Drua Sisi. No one wants to sing damn. Says Sock there. And Glenn Jackson getting his groove. Right, they're just going to check it now. Kick him on from Tuidraki Samo Vorre. Did he knock it on in the process? I think this angle says that it's all right though. Yeah, he takes it beautifully. Offloads it back. Brilliant pickup from Eliza Drua Sisi. That is very hard to do in these type of conditions. But he's done it well. And now the kick straight out in front of the post for the Fijian Drua. It should be a guaranteed one. Brumbies looking tired. Yeah, that humidity hitting them hard at the moment. And 20 points down up against the Fijian Drua. X has been an issue for the Drua time after time. Hopefully that this season, says Mr. Fiji Party. And Fiji about to win me my first bet of the season, says Pro Pleb. No way the Brumbies look so strong, says Beast. And yeah, they just haven't played their best rugby. This is now 2 weeks in a row that we see sides go to Fiji and not quite perform. 20 points is too much, you'd think so. That would be 3 converted tries in 8 minutes that would be required for this Brumbies team. Brumbies playing like a bunch of donkeys today, says Ben. Very humid in Bar. And yeah, like the talks of humidity is something that as a player I'm sure you consider, but you don't know what it's like till you're actually there. They mentioned about how there's more humidity in Bar than there is in Latoka and Suva. And also the fact that we had a downpour halfway through the game. It's made the conditions forever changing. And you've just got to make sure you adapt. And I mean, the Fijian Drua, they have played like they know these conditions in and out. Even though it's their first Super Rugby Pacific game here in the breakdown. Looking for the steal. It's another penalty to the Fijian Drua. They are on fire currently. That time it was Kitione Salawa who wins the turnover. 22 points is nothing to sneeze at though. Says Pro Pleb. Tane only played well for like 1 season of Super Rugby. And Elbow going to be voted out now, says Sock. And come on, Fiji, get one more, says BTW Padsa. Yeah, the Fijian Drua, they are getting close to that half century if they can score themselves one more try from this game. But the Brumbies, they're trying to take momentum back, but they just haven't been able to do so. We've got to remember, this is a Fijian Drua side too, that earlier on in this game, they were down to 13 men out there on the park. 50, I don't think they'll quite get to 50. We'll just mention as well, the Brumbies are now $51 underdogs, so that is pretty much a no chance of coming back into this game. Drua running away with it. On fire for the Drua, says Moa there, and Imagine, says Sash. And there as well, overthrown. A nicely claimed or penalty, though, for it not being straight from the Drua. Man, Fiji treated ACT like they did Tangaroa College. And up the Drua is all mistake made from the Brumbies. Taking the quick tap, Ryan Lonergan's lost it backwards, and it's another knock on. Fijian Drua taking the ball back. And it is the advantage in favour of the home side once more. Hi, Bru, says Nasoni, welcome in. This has been a historic day for the Fijian Drua now, ladies and gentlemen, as they are still going. And this game is not over. Now will be a Soa Tuwai. It's a ball up again. Cross kick attempted by Fiji. Claimed by the Brumbies. They'll go back for the penalty again. Tries up to the Fijian Drua. Says Amosi there. And now this penalty, if they get this kick over. Oh no, sorry. It's a penalty to the Brumbies it's been ruled as. I thought the Fijian Drua had penalty advantage there, but they must have taken it away for the tackle in the air. It's a pretty soft one, really. The Brumbies will have themselves a line out. What did you do today, Hamish? These guys say pretty much spent the whole day setting up streams and sleeping. It's the two things that we've done. The Brumbies deliberately rest a lot of players, or are they injured? They did rest them on purpose. They had a tough game last week up against the Reds. They've got a big game up against the Chiefs last week. I think that they underestimated this Fijian Drua side a little bit, while also trying to create a bit of rotation and opportunity for players who don't normally get the chance. But it has royally backfired for this game. Being told to use it. Finds Liliwasa. He's going to kick this one high. And that one's going to be falling nicely for Andy Muirhead, at least it would have, but it slips through the fingertips. Now play on is the call from the referee. Back across to the left. Drua still with ball in hand. Offload up to Asoa Tuwai. He almost goes through, but tackled last ditch by Bowen. Offload on the outside from the Drua. Moving away to the left. Ponepati Loganamasi. 20 metres out from the line. Running sideways. Trying to find that net gap, but Lonergan able to tackle him. At the stage at the Fijian Drua, if they score one more try, they would get themselves the bonus point win from this contest. There's still plenty to play for if you are the Fijian Drua, and it would be quite the statement to make, getting a bonus point up against this Brumbies side, which many sides have been unable to do. Hi, Hamish, can you say hi to Virasila? Says Nasani. So yeah, big shout out to Virasila. Namothi is on the field. That is for Rabitu. That is another debut for this Fijian Drua team. Armstrong Ravola passes on the outside. Drop ball from Kitioni Salawa, unable to take it cleanly. Fiji, says the Matilla. Now let's go, says Poppy. And there too, looking for the steal in the breakdown. The Fijian Drua, Mira almost able to rip that one away. 3.5 minutes remaining in this match. The Brumbies, if they were to score 2 converted tries, they could get back inside of the 7-point margin. Hudson Crichton just decides to kick it downfield. Looking for a 50-22, but it won't quite go out. Cleaned up by Eliza Drua. CC 5 metres out from his own line. Trying to go for a banana kick. It's gone down the middle of the field, and the Brumbies now in possession. It's a bit of a scrambled mess in terms of who's onside and who is off. And Meredith running it forward. Ball's there for the Brumbies. You got a wife, brother? I do not. I don't even have myself a lady friend. Now right-hand side, Lonergan. Up to McPherson. He scored a try early on in this game. But not more recently for this Brumbies team. Backline movement. Hudson Crichton gets through the challenge. Pops it on the inside to Anderson. And right, 80 minutes, please. I am not, Sock. Do you do every game? Most games. We've got a few that we do miss along the way. Probably about 80% of the matches we do cover on the channel. Andy Muirhead tackled again. 2 minutes remaining, but they'll go back for the penalty advantage for the Brumbies. Okay, number 21 was offside. That was Asoa Tuwai. I am not beast. Knock Knock says BTW. What a game, says Moa Hunters. And chat going crazy, says Hose. And they will show Brumbies today our Super Rugby is played, says Litiana. And the Fijian Drua, they will get a nice hefty boost on the overall standings with a victory here. I'd say they'll be more than happy with how they find themselves sitting. Okay, thanks, says Poppy. Now line out throw for Bowen. 90 seconds remaining in this match. Fiji has got better. They have become very strong in their home field conditions, that is for sure. Will the Canes be on top of the table now? And also, I'm going to watch you every game, says Poppy. Now rolling forward. Next match that we have got is Crusaders versus Highlanders, just around the corner from taking place. Lonergan moves it away left. Fiji got better, says Dematilla. Now 1 second. 1 minute left on the clock. The Drua told to get out of that breakdown. This match kind of finishing in the same way that it did start, with the Brumbies going for phases time after time. It's going to be an advantage there for a clear lift from the Fijian Drua in the breakdown. Big shot from Tuwai. And up the land, says Poppy. Now on the outside, Anderson. Left-hand side, Lonergan goes short. 40 seconds now remaining on the clock here. A little bit of push and shove off the ball. By the looks of Fijian Drua is just playing touch rugby, says Letiana, and they will go back for another penalty in favour of this Brumbies team. They probably will take a quick tap here. Got 20 seconds left now. I might just put a bet on Crusaders winning by less than 12. So here's Pro Pleb. Now Bowen. And off to the left-hand side. And up the tars, says Chi, Kiwi NZ. See, I've got a player in mind for that Crusaders versus Highlanders game, but I don't want more people backing him, if that makes sense, just in case he doesn't end up scoring. But if he scores, I'll let you know, which doesn't really benefit you $2, but I'll write it down on a bit of paper before the game gets underway, and then if he scores, I'll show you it. I roll on the next game, says Moa Hunters. Now trying to get close to the post there for the Brumbies. The 80-minute siren has now sounded. The FIJIAN DRUA, they are moments of making history. They are still playing under penalty advantage. Andy Muirhead, he will score it out wide, but that try will not matter in the long run for this game, as in bar, for the first time ever, the FIJIAN DRUA have defeated the Brumbies. As the Chiefs playing, they are not playing this weekend. Do you choose Red or Waratahs? I think it will be a good back and forth type of game. I believe that the fact that the Reds have the home field advantage will help them just a little bit there. But it is a finishing blow for the Brumbies, but not enough to get them back into this game at bar. And I can tell you right now, they'll be hoping more games taking place at this stadium in the future. I've got, I believe, Latoka next week. You can see the emotion for these FIJIAN DRUA players. It is a massive day in history for FIJIAN DRUA Rugby. Thank you, Brumbies, for your efforts, says Amosi there. It means that they only have the Chiefs now that they have never beaten in Super Rugby Pacific. What do you think about the Drua's performance? It is a phenomenal one. Like, the conditions were not easy one bit throughout this matchup, but they have just managed. Oh, that kick has gone away to the side, so the score will remain 42-27. The win by 15 for the FIJIAN DRUA here. But yeah, it is a phenomenal effort from this Drua side. They adapted to the early penalties against them, which they did have 2 men go to the bin for yellow cards, but from there, they were lethal in terms of that attack. Drua sponsored by Anchor. Says Aletiana there. Oh, sorry, that was Chi NZ. And also we have got there, so is it done? It is indeed. And the win for the FIJIAN DRUA, 42 points to 27. This day started with sun out in bar, ended with some rain, and then some humid conditions all the way through. The Drua, they got the job done. Drua just showing Brumbies how to play rugby with better ref. Says Latiana, I'm very proud to have a neighbour who is cousin, who is working with a Fiji Indian. Says Sock there, and another one in the bag, says Hose. But now the next game, just around the corner, that is going to be the contest between the Crusaders and the Highlanders. We will be covering that one on the channel too, so of course be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We will see you guys in the near future. It is 27-42. The scoreboard has not given the credit to the Brumbies last try as of yet, but a massive performance from this FIJIAN DRUA side. But thank you all for watching. I will see you all for the next one.